it's like your first anniversary after the wedding, and the person you're meant to celebrate with is not there. Been in the UK for like 16 years. My husband was in the UK.
Right.
No, went to study in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
In 2006, he went to do his second master's there. And then he invited me to go for his graduation that time. Just it was like a visit visa I went for.
Mm-hmm.
Went for the graduation, and I went during winter time. It was cold, so I was like, "Hey, I need to go back home. I can't cope with this."
Mm-hmm.
I was granted the visa. I think it was for 2 or 3 years. So I went back to stay with Joseph because he had gotten an extension for his visa after the studies as well. So within the 3 years that I was granted the visa, we said, okay, why can't we try and apply for the boys, my 2 sons. At that time, they were 6 years and 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we applied for the visas, but they got denied the visas. I don't know why, but they got denied, and we came back. We were very hearted about it. So we appealed for the visa to be granted, and then it took like nearly a year for the thing to go through. So they were granted a visa, and then we came and just settled. Yeah, and then since then we've been a happy family. At that time, Joseph was having got the accident. Joseph was a PhD student in University of Dundee in Scotland, and he was doing kind of he had been invited to a conference in regards to ritual abuse, which was kind of in line with the kind of job he was doing in Scotland. He used to work for another NGO farm that supports people who've gone through abuse or just kind of that, and write stuff for them, a lot of stuff. So he had gone to US for that conference, and unfortunately he got hit by a car while crossing the road. So going back, before Joseph traveled to the UK, to California, US, he traveled like on Monday, and within that time we were talking. So Friday morning, I remember I was going to work. Friday morning UK time. Yeah. So it was kind of around midnight California time or so the time. So he sent me a text to say, okay, sweetheart, have a good day. We've never called each other by name. We've always called each other sweetheart, and that was it. So I said, okay, can you please text me when you get to your hotel? And then I know maybe I might be in the ward, I might not get the call or the text on time, but once I get the text, I'm going to respond to you on time. So that Friday I was working, so during my break time I checked my phone, because we don't work with phones in the ward. So I checked my phone, and I couldn't see a message. So I was like, okay, Kwani, what's happening? Lunchtime, I checked my phone, there wasn't any message. Tea time, we call it tea time in Scotland, so tea time is kind of supper time. So they call tea time there. So supper time, I checked my phone, there wasn't any message.
Was that now a worrying?
I started worrying because that's not how we communicate. We communicate, if you see your phone, check on the other person. Yeah. That's how we do it, you know. We can't go like 4 hours without checking on the other person.
Right. So this was strange.
This wasn't right. And then I'm like, with women, you're like, okay, whatever. Did you find a side chick there? That's why you're not speaking to me. So that clicks. And then you're like, okay, calm down, Christabel. You just don't know what's happening. Calm down. I did. And then I started really worrying when it was nighttime now. Now UK time, nighttime, he hasn't texted me. I got worried. I got the chills, like something is not right. But I knew Joseph has high blood pressure. So I knew, okay, maybe with Scotland, it's quite a cold country. California is quite a hot, beautiful country. Place. So I knew maybe it was the heat too much for him. You know, you start creating excuses like you don't know. You just create this thing in your mind. So I was like, okay, it's fine. As long as he's okay, you know. We say where I am, we're like, okay, no news is good news. So I was trying to like convince myself, no news is good news. But was it good news? No, it wasn't good news. So Saturday No, I texted my brother. My brother is in Nebraska, Mato. He's doing his PhD there. So I texted him and asked, hey, have you spoken to your brother-in-law? Because now that's Saturday night, they were to meet on Monday to catch up, you know. So I was like, maybe they've spoken and he knows.
Yeah.
So my brother said, you know, we haven't spoken, but I know he's all right. Now that's Saturday morning. I'm just cleaning my house and everything, just making sure the boys are fine. Because, hey, me, I like partying. So I was like, Sato, me, I'm going out. So, but I need to sort the house, make sure everything is fine, the boys are okay before I go. So I get this call. It's a US code, but it's not my brother. It's not sweetheart. It's not my cousins. It's not anybody, you know. Either my friends or in the US, it's not them. So I'm like, hey, this is a negative feeling before I get this call. So I get the call, and then the lady says, because he saved me as sweetheart on the phone. Now I'll go back about the phone issue. Just hold on to that thought. So before Joseph left, Joseph had 2 phones. Safaricom phone, which is an Android, and an Apple phone, which was the UK line. Before he left, I told him, sweetheart, you need to carry these 2 phones. And he was like, no, I don't need, I just need my UK line. Because if it's sending people money back at home, I've already done it. Definitely, I don't need the Safaricom phone. I'm like, please, I'm begging you, just carry your Safaricom phone. We had an argument about the phone. Sometimes these guys, they don't listen.
Yeah.
They just don't listen. So he was like, I'm not carrying it. I'm like, no, you carry it.
So
if you don't, I'll just sneak it in your bag. You have to take this phone. I had that instinct, like you have to go with your phone. So when Joseph was hit by a car, remember he refused to carry the Safaricom phone. He had the Apple phone. He wanted only the Apple phone. But that time he had 2 phones when the accident happened. They couldn't. Now I think the phones now, the Apple you can unlock. But that time they couldn't unlock the Apple phone. So he wouldn't have been found if Joseph went with only the Apple phone. They only managed to unlock the Android phone, the Safaricom phone. Joseph refused to go with it. That's how this lady managed to get me. So this consultant phones me and says, do you know somebody called Joseph? I said, yes, it's my husband. He didn't know if it was a side chick or something being served sweetheart here.
Of course. Oh my gosh.
So she says, I'm so sorry to tell you, he's been hit by a car and he's in a really bad shape. And we're kind of just giving him like 24 hours. If he survives, it will be a miracle. And I remember that time when he was telling me goodbye. We were just standing like the main door, like just when he wants to go. He told me, sweetheart, I'm living with my boys, my 2 boys. You have to make sure they're okay. You have to take care of these boys the way you want, the way I want, the way I've raised them. I'm like, why are you talking about
this? Yeah.
What are you talking about? He said, no, I'm just telling you because I'm away for a week, but I need to make sure you're taking care of my boys the right way. So I said, okay, that's fine. I always do anyway, but you're not telling me how to mother my kids. So he did that, and we kissed, and he left, and that was it. So when the doctor said if he makes 24 hours, I think I went to the mode. I just kind of blocked, like, speaking. Because I started asking medical questions, his phone to tell me my husband has, no, Joseph, said Joseph has 24 hours to live. I started asking medical questions. Okay, and what's this? What's his heart rate? What's this? Have you done blood sugars? Have you done this? Have you done, what's the full blood count? What is this and this? And then for me, from her to me, I was thinking it's just like a doctor informing me at work about my patient, not my husband.
Whoa.
That's how I blocked it. So she phoned. She was like, Christabel, let me phone you back. So she cut the phone. She was really nice. She cut the phone and she phoned back. She's like, now she reminded me she's speaking about my husband.
Wow.
Christabel, that's your husband I'm talking about, you know?
Not a patient.
Yeah. That's your husband. Do you have somebody close to you there? I said, no, at that moment I didn't have. I had the boys were in their rooms playing their video games and everything. So I had to be strong. I didn't want them to hear me cry or anything, you know. Immediately I phoned Joseph's boss. She's an amazing woman. Oh my God, Lori is amazing. So she was on her way, I think, to Edinburgh to do some stuff. So she turned back and came to my house. Within that time, I found my friend, Jo. She's Scottish, lady married to a Kenyan guy. We just live close by. So in her mind, I just phoned her and I just said, Jo, it's Joseph. She was like, is that man cheating on you? I'm like, come on, Jo, relax. No, I didn't even say anything. I think at that time I didn't say anything because I couldn't talk.
Yeah, you were in shock.
I couldn't talk. I was like, no, Jo, just it's Joseph. That's the only thing I could say. It's Joseph. Christabel, what's up with Joseph? Is he cheating on you? It's Joseph. I couldn't say anything. So she drove back. She was going to see somebody in hospital. She had some patient in hospital. So she drove back and came to the house. And I said, Joseph has had an accident and he's in a really bad shape. He's in ICU. We all sat down. She couldn't stop crying. Within that 1 hour of me being told Joseph has had an accident, my house was fully packed with people. Joseph's boss had phoned other colleagues of Joseph and some friends we know. My friend Joe had phoned other friends where we live.
When you got to California, how did you find Joseph? What state was he in?
Joseph was in a bad shape. He was hooked up in all machines you can tell.
Was he able to recognize you?
He couldn't talk, he couldn't open the eyes. He was just surviving on oxygen at that moment.
At that moment.
Let me tell you, there are those things we take for granted. Joseph was just there. But the first thing I saw my husband do was yawn. I phoned people at home to say, Joseph just yawned.
Well, and that's a big deal.
That was a big thing. Can you imagine somebody's just hooked on a machine and cannot do that? You know? So the time they had removed the thing for the mouth, and so I could see him yawn. I was super excited. I was like, yeah, this man, when you yawn, that means there's some oxygen circulation. And that's a big step. And just like I saw the finger move. Everything, any step he was making, I was getting just overwhelmed. I'm like, the doctor said 24 hours.
And look at
24 hours I flew, he's still here. 24 hours it's gone, he's still here. I'm here now, it's like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's gone. So he will survive. This man will make it. And I know I'll take him home. What was stressing me is how the boys will be, or how the boys are going to take it, or how they're going to respond to the situation the way it was. We know Dad is not feeling well. We know Dad has had an accident, but make sure you bring Dad home. Okay. So every time I could think about breaking, I'm like, yes, let's bring Dad home. I had to.
Sorry.
So yeah. So I had to tell Leslie, I'll try my best and to bring Dad home. So when I used to go and see Joseph, I was like, I remind him, Leslie wants you home.
Safe.
Lance wants you home. Because both of them used to play rugby. Their season is ended just now, but I used to tell Leslie, Joseph, you know, me, I work a lot, but I don't even know how to play rugby. I can't go and stand and watch the boys play, you know. You need to come back home and go and see the boys play rugby. So you have to. You have no choice, you know. I remember we renewed our vows in 2018, and then accident happened in 2019. So the best man, he's Kenyan as well. There's a time he found me when I was in the US, and he said, this man never told me he's going, he's traveling to US. I accepted to be your best man, but I'm not taking your responsibility, so I had to put the phone on Joseph, for him to hear. You know, when they talk, it's like they're quarreling. I'm like, man, he was like, man, I accepted to be your best man. I'm not taking your responsibility. You come back home, you deal with your family. I have my own kids, I have my own wife. You've got your own wife and your own kids. Come on, sort your life. You have to come back and sort your life. So I used to find myself, people phoning me and me kind of cancelling them instead. You know, I tell them maybe, I don't know if it was the right thing or the wrong thing, but maybe that made me strong in a way, because I knew it's not just me hurting. Joseph is a person who's really known in the community. He's a person who's put people together. Joseph, with other friends, they started a charity organization to support people, to bring people of ethnic minority together in Dundee, or just like in Scotland or the UK. So I knew Joseph is not just for me, it's for everybody, you know. And it was up to me to make sure I bring Joseph back home to his people, you know. For me, I can have him anytime, but he's not mine, he's for the people. That man, my man, is my hero, my sweetheart, because, as I said, COVID has come, has gone, and he's still standing. From being told, you've got 24 hours, to how many 24 hours, I can't count,
3 years,
you know. It's 3 years and counting. So when you go, I took time off from work to take care of Joseph. At that time, I took 6 months. So I was there with the kid. I was needing that time to heal myself.
Of course,
I was needing that to heal myself. So within that time, my job offers counseling for yourself. And then with my college GP practice, with your medical practice, where you normally go for medical attention, they offer you as well counseling. So I was getting 2 counseling from different places. The hard thing about doing the job I do is dealing with the family or the relatives or the friends when maybe their person is dying. That's a hard bit. Because you'll find some of the patients, they've kind of, they've had the chemotherapy, they've had the radiotherapy, and they're tired of it. Because the chemo makes you worse before you get better. And sometimes it can even get you maybe better, and then you won't make it. Just depends. So you'll find maybe the person has already accepted, you know, me, I'm ready to go. But the family is not ready to let go of the person die, you know. So the hard part is trying. You don't even have the words to tell the person, you know, your family, you know, your dad or your mom or your sister, brother is ready to go, you know. You have to give them that, the reassurance to make, like, that's the point where the doctor needs to kind of call a meeting with the family or next of kin or something, speak to them, call them and tell them, you know, what we've done, we've tried this medication, we've done this and this, but your patient, like, won't make it. You'll just, in Kenya, like, you'll be wasting your money, and that won't be rude, or the person, or the doctor won't be telling you, like, wachana tu na you're wasting your money, unaona.